Greetings. Today we have a topic that I like a lot and have been preaching for years, which is the learning matrix. What does that mean? All my life I've been trying to prove one concept. Like, if there's one thing I'm trying to master, it's this, which is when I took up jiu-jitsu and I got pretty good at it, whatever I learned from that, I was able to translate it whenever I took up painting. And the first time I took painting, the instructor that was helping me out was like, "Wow, you're very good at this. Like you have a knack for this." And I'm like, "Yep." And I didn't tell him this, but I am a very fast learner, mainly because I don't start from scratch. I always, whenever I learn something, try to abstract it in my head into something that can be applied to anything. And that's what I did in painting. My understanding of physics helped me in jiu-jitsu and vice versa. Similarly, my it got applied into poetry, into painting, into sculpt. Like I never sculpted, but I meant like figurine painting, all the way to writing and managing people. All of those, in my head at least, are part of a matrix that is called skills, that you can take like stuff from and just insert it back into whatever you're trying to learn, and you'd learn quicker. So what I'm trying to say is that you don't always have to start from scratch whenever you're learning something new. You can just start from the middle because you've spent all that time gathering information. Another example I would like to give you, again from my own life, is exams. I'm notorious in my family for passing exams with like minimum study time. I study an hour before the exam and come out with like 50% of the exam done, or 60 or 70, depending on how hard the exam was or how difficult the instructor likes to put the exam. Sometimes I got full grades. Like, I remember I took a media class, and in that media class, I studied 10 minutes before it, and by that I mean I skimmed the papers just to know the words. And when I entered the exam, I remember the instructor knowing that I'm not doing anything. I don't pay attention in class. I look around. Uh, I showed up late to the exam. I solved it and submitted it earlier than most. So she was like, "Okay," and it's one of those like scanner things. So it's a multiple choice question. So you uh, highlight the ones you think are correct, and then she scans it with her phone, and it gives you the result, right? And um, she's scanning it. It's like, "Okay, let's see how badly you did," right? Boom, and I got out of 50, I got 48. So she paused and she's like, 48. Good job, right? There's nothing to be said besides that. And I'm like, "Which ones did I get wrong?" And she was like, "A and B." I'm like, "Yep, I knew it." And then I left. And she, I think like she was like, "What? How? You were a good student, you know." And the way it went is because I've took enough exams to abstract how professors put exams, unless you're a special case like some engineering professor who's extra nerdy. The way you put exams is just all, to me, similar, which is some are tricks, some are tricks, not tricks, but pretending to be tricks, decoys as I like to call them. There are a lot of things that don't test your knowledge, but test your confidence in your knowledge, right? And it's not like media is a difficult subject, right? And to me, it's just, I even when I don't know an answer, I would like, I can guess the correct one based on the choices. This is clearly not it. This is clearly not it. Based on what I know, it's either or. This one seems most correct. Circle it, right? And boom, correct. Like 48 out of 50. And maybe 101 class is a bad example, but if you study for 10 minutes and then you do this well in an exam, something has to give. And I attribute it to my, what I like to call, the learning matrix, which is what I have in my head, and that's the only thing in college that I tried my best to develop. Whenever I learn a subject, maybe I get a D in it, but um, I've abstracted enough of it to add it to the learning matrix. So if I ever revisit it, I actually know more, not less, than what I used to. Um, and that's the only thing I've developed in my skill gathering, if you will. Anything else is just like dependent on the subject itself. So yeah, I hope you found that interesting. Maybe apply it. Tell me how it works out for you, or tell me whether you apply it or not. And I'll see you all on the next one.